Okay, folks, the time is approximately 6:01 p.m. The June 25th, 2026 Farragut Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting will now begin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and online. I want to thank you for your presence at tonight's Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting. My name is Ron Williams, the fourth elected mayor of the town of Farragut. We appreciate that each of you has taken your time from your busy schedules to either attend or view tonight's meeting. It will be a great example of our town government at work. All Farragut Board of Mayor and Aldermen meetings are public notice per Tennessee state law. All board meeting minutes are taken and are available. Each meeting will be recorded and can be viewed later on the YouTube channel. If you're in attendance, you should be able to pick up a copy of tonight's agenda at the door when you came in. If you could not attend tonight and are viewing from home, then the agenda is available online at our website. For those in attendance that would like to speak, please pick up a blue card at the door and write your name and agenda number that you wish to comment on. There will also be time reserved near the end of the meeting for citizen comments on non-agenda subjects, which also requires that you fill out a blue card with citizen comments as your time you wish to speak and bring it to the town recorder right up front here on my right. On each agenda item, the mayor will ask the town administrator for the residents' input. During this time, any Farragut resident wishing to speak to the board on that specific agenda item may do so for up to 3 minutes. After being recognized by the mayor, please go to the podium microphone to be heard and viewed by all. To conduct efficient business-like meetings, the town has adopted rules for how its meetings will be conducted. Primarily, these rules are designed to keep the meeting moving, assure that all points of view are heard and considered, and to provide common courtesy to everyone. We ask that you observe the established meeting rules when addressing the board. At the beginning of your presentation, please state your name and address for the record. We ask that you address all your questions to the mayor or, in his absence, the vice mayor on my right. Do not direct questions to the alderman or staff members. If necessary, the mayor may call on an alderman or staff member concerning your question or comments. Once you've given your input, please return to your seat so we can continue. We ask that each and every speaker avoid the use of improper language, profanity, or other inappropriate conduct and address issues, not individuals or personalities with malicious comments. Speakers should strive to avoid redundancy and should have their own original viewpoints. We ask that you also stay on topic of that agenda item. Okay, for the meeting called to order, we'll start tonight's meeting with a roll call by our town recorder for a quorum.
Alderman Kane.
Here.
Alderman LaCroix.
Here.
Vice Mayor Meyer.
Here.
Alderman Burnett. Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams here. Okay, we do have a quorum. I thank you for calling that. And it has been recognized now. Please join me by standing, if you're able, for election, a reflection of our nation's veterans, along with the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag, led tonight by Alderman LaCroix. Okay, do we have any agenda amendments? None? Okay, then I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, Scott and Alex. Okay, if in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Let the record show the June 25th, 2026 agenda has been approved as posted. Okay, well, next will be the workshop minutes. Any amendments to the June 11th workshop meeting minutes? None? Okay.
Move to approve.
Okay, Scott. Alex. Okay, if in favor, vote by saying yes. Yes.
Yes.
Let the record show the workshop minutes have been approved as posted. Okay, meeting minutes. Any amendments to the June 11th, 2026 meeting minutes? None? Okay.
Move to approve. Second.
Scott. Alex again. If in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Let the record show the minutes have been approved as posted. Okay, on the mayor's report, I'll start off with a thank you for all who have called me or spoke with me in person with their opinion on the election candidates. I will urge everyone to call the candidates of their choice and express their opinions and concerns Also, thank you for those who have called with their opinion on the Boring Road. Like all future projects, it's only in the CIP as a placeholder with no design currently. There will be public discussion in future when this advances to the agenda. Okay, tonight we have an ordinance and a resolution for review. Ordinance 26-12, approval of ordinance 26-12. An ordinance on the second reading to amend the Town of Farragut, Tennessee fiscal year 2025-2026 capital investment program fund budget, passed by ordinance 25-10.
Thank you, Mayor. The original budget for the ERP software implementation totaled $160,000, and it was intended to cover all anticipated implementation costs. During the implementation process, some unforeseen expenses occurred with additional user licenses that needed to be had for the ERP system. So a total budget amendment of $8,000 is required from CIP reserves to CIP expenditures, which would amend the available CIP fund balance as amended for FY 2026 to $3,873,122.08. And CIP expenditures would be amended to $25,026,709.92. And the motion is to approve ordinance 26-12 on second reading.
Move to approve. Second.
Scott, Alex. Okay, any rest of comments on this?
No, sir.
None? Okay, thank you. Start off with since we do not have Alderman Burnett here, we will start off with Alderman Kane.
No questions, sir.
Thank you. Alderman LaCroy.
No questions.
Vice Mayor.
Pass.
Okay, I have nothing as well. Discussion closed. I ask the Town Recorder for roll call vote, please.
Alderman Kane.
Yes.
Alderman LaCroy.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Meyer.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, thanks. Okay, let the record show the second and final reading by unanimous roll call vote, 4-0, on June 25th, 2026 at approximately 6:08 p.m. Okay, next will be a resolution, be R 2609, approval of resolution R 2609, approving guidelines for record maintenance and retention.
In an effort to establish consistent, legally compliant records management practices across all departments, staff has developed a comprehensive records retention policy molded after MTAS record retention schedule, which is specifically designed for Tennessee municipalities and is authorized under the TCA 107702. As a part of this process, all department heads were consulted and expressed general concurrence with the MTAS schedule. However, the town engineer requested a local amendment to Series E2 Bridge and Street project files to ensure project plans, drawings, and as-built documents are retained permanently given their long-term value for infrastructure improvements. The proposed resolution formally adopts the records retention policy, the MTAS retention schedule, and any amendments thereto as the town's official guide and engineering department requested local amendments to Series E2. So recommended to approve Resolution 2609, approving guidelines for records maintenance and retention.
Scott, Alex, okay. Any resident input on this one?
No, sir.
None, okay. Then we'll start with Alderman Kane.
No questions.
Alderman LaCroy.
No questions.
Vice Mayor.
Pass.
I have nothing as well. Discussion closed. I'll ask for the town recorder for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Kane.
Yes.
Alderman LaCroy.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Meyer.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes, thank you. Let the record show that Resolution R 2609 has been approved by 4-0. Roll call vote, June 25th, 2026 at approximately 6:10 p.m. Okay, business items. On tonight's agenda, we have 3 for review and consideration for approval. We'll start off with approval of revisions to the Stormwater Advisory Committee Charter. Darrell, you're
At your last workshop, you discussed the possibility of adding a board member to the Stormwater Advisory Committee. That can be done very simply. I've placed a red line copy of the charter for the Stormwater Advisory Committee in your packet, along with a clean copy of it. There's just a couple of changes to make. The first one is the Stormwater Advisory Committee shall consist of 8 voting members as opposed to 7. And the second change is in the makeup of the membership. We just inserted that one member that is a member of the Farragut Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It's very straightforward. Staff recommends approval as presented.
Okay, thank you, Darrell. At this point, I guess I'll need a motion.
Move to approve.
Scott, Alex, okay. Any resident comments on this one? None? Then discussion, Alderman Kane.
I understand that Alderman LaCroix has just expressed his desire for this, and I think you'll be very good at it, Joe.
Okay. Okay. Alderman LaCroix.
No questions.
No questions? Okay. Vice Mayor?
I agree with Alderman Kane. I think Alderman LaCroix would be great.
Okay, I do too, and I guess with discussion closed, I will ask that if in favor of voting for Alderman LaCroix, please say yes. Yes. Okay. Let the record show that the revision's been approved as requested. That pretty well covers appointment of board mayor and alderman representative to the Stormwater Advisory Committee.
We'll need to do that separate.
But we will go through it anyway. And I will need a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
I
Okay.
move to appoint Alderman LaCroix.
Okay.
Second that.
Okay.
Sorry, we got ahead of ourselves.
Sorry.
Okay, and nobody had any mention of any sort of a discussion on it, so we'll say that, let the record show. Well,
We did have a citizen comment on.
Appointment.
oh, okay,
Appointment.
Okay.
All right.
okay, well, then let's bring up whoever want to talk.
It's Kim Park.
Okay, Ms. Parks, you're more than welcome to come up here.
Are you not working?
No, you guys have to be on.
Okay, Ms. Parks, you're up. Go ahead. Thank you.
All right. Board, mayor and member of the board, back in October and November, I addressed this board and expressed my interest in serving in one of the town's boards or committees. I was unable to attend the last meeting, so I thought this was the best opportunity for me to address this. I submitted my application on November 17th at 7:35 p.m. My first choice was Farragut Tourism, Visitor Advisory Committee, as a lodging representative or some sort. My second choice was Parks and Athletics Council, and my third choice was Visual Resource Review Board. I'm not here tonight asking to be placed on a Stormwater Advisory Committee or anything right now. But I am here because my application was not included in the binder that you guys were given. This is now the third time in approximately 8 months that I have volunteered to serve for the town and was never given the actual opportunity or even the opportunity to be considered. I also asked to volunteer my time and experience on the ad hoc committee, and I was denied that opportunity as well. At some point, this becomes a pattern. It is very difficult for a citizen to volunteer their time and their talents when they are never given a fair chance to serve. It is even more concerning when a resident follows what I was told the stated process was and submits the required application, and then later discovered that elected officials didn't actually get my application at all. This is not a fair process, it is not a transparent process, and it does not encourage meaningful citizen involvement. The board cannot fully evaluate applicants when staff does not provide every application received. Whether a person is ultimately appointed, should the board's decision, applications should not be filtered, withheld, or excluded before they're ever reaching to you guys. The town often says it wants residents to become involved, but involvement cannot be reserved for a preferred circle of people. Citizen participation has to mean that every qualified resident who follows the process receives an honest and equal opportunity to be considered. It's hard to volunteer when you're never given the chance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Parks. Okay. Looks like we had a unanimous vote for Mr. Corey to be the stormwater representative from the board. This has been something that I think Alderman LaCroix stepped up and was highly visible and involved in what happened with the sewer spill. And I do believe that this would be a good choice, in my opinion, and if the board agrees with me, then we'll move on. Okay. Okay, next will be approval.
I think we need to call the vote on that.
We did. Oh, we did vote? Okay, then let's go with a roll call vote for the stormwater representative, please.
Alderman King,
Yes.
Alderman LaCroix,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Meyer,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Okay, it's unanimous, 4-0, at approximately 6:17 PM. Okay. Next will be approval of emergency contract for professional services agreement with Whaley Construction LLC for replacement of storm sewer pipe on Glen Abbey Boulevard.
In early April this year, we received a call from a resident about a depression that had appeared to form fairly rapidly on Glen Abbey Boulevard. We went out and investigated, and we did confirm there was a substantial depression, but we didn't initially believe that replacement was deemed necessary. In coordination with Public Works, that area was excavated, pipe was covered with geotextile fiber, backfilled and paved. Towards the end of May, we were again informed of road failure, and then upon inspection, it was determined the repairs are no longer an option, and emergency replacement of the pipe by replacing the existing corrugated metal pipe with reinforced concrete pipe was necessary. The repairs will consist of a replacement of approximately 150 linear feet of 48-inch corrugated metal pipe with 150 linear feet approximately of 48-inch reinforced concrete pipe, and then the installation of 2 blind junctions in order to prevent further deterioration of the roadway and ensure public safety. The town selected Whaley Construction LLC as a contractor on an emergency repair basis. Whaley Construction was provided with the purchase order to move forward with the ordering of materials requiring lead time on June 11th. The estimated cost for completion is $250,000. Estimated lead time for delivery of blind junction boxes was approximately 3 weeks. They hope to get started on next Monday, the 29th. And then repairs are anticipated to take approximately 2 to 4 weeks. Whaley Construction has completed multiple jobs for the town, and we are confident in their ability to complete the repairs quickly and efficiently. Staff recommends approval of emergency contract for professional services agreement with Whaley Construction LLC for replacement of storm sewer pipe on Glen Abbey Boulevard.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have resident comments on this particular
No, sir.
thing. We do not, okay. Then we'll discussion. Alderman Kane.
How's this going to affect traffic in and out of their neighborhood?
They will flag whenever they're in the roadway. Hoping for less than a week of that. And then the rest of the pipe replacement is going to be out of the roadway. So they shouldn't have to be in the roadway too terribly long. We think there's something underneath the pipe, a sinkhole of some sort. So it all depends on when they get down in there and actually get it cut open where they can see what the actual issue is.
Yeah, the same thing happened in my neighborhood a couple of years ago, and when they removed it, the hole went a lot deeper, so I understand.
Okay, thank you. Alderman LaCroix.
I have no question.
Vice Mayor.
Pass.
Will they be using steel plate to leave one lane open and then cover the other lane? Is that how they're going to do this?
They're gonna flag around it when it's open. I don't think that they're gonna have, once they get that hole open, I don't think they're gonna have any traffic over it. It's plated right now.
Okay,
It's currently filled with stone, but we've had to fill back in a couple of times since we filled it back in because there's something under there that's kind of sucking that stone back out, so.
Okay. Okay, that's all the questions I have. Then, okay, I ask if in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any noes? Let the record show that contracts have been approved as requested. And thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. Okay, next will be citizen comments. At the end of our business meeting, we have reserved some time for citizen comments. Do we have anyone signed up to speak tonight?
Yes, sir.
We do, okay. If so, it sounds like we do, so I'll ask each speaker if they've had the opportunity to read the comment protocol located on the back of tonight's posted agenda. If so, please step up to the podium, microphone when you're recognized and state your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes to give your comments. I advise our board and staff members to take notes for future reference or questions.
Adam Atherton, 801 Andover Boulevard.
Okay, thank you, Adam. We ain't seen you in a while. Hope everything's going well. Okay, good.
Good? All right. Good evening. Adam Atherton, 801 Andover Boulevard, beautiful Farragut. A couple comments for the mayor. I do want to provide you input, engagement perspective, as you requested even yesterday. But in a way, I'm wondering what in the world is going on. Sometimes you strike me as a bit of a chameleon. You skillfully, diplomatically run BOMA and town of Farragut for close to 8 years. You've accomplished much, as you sometimes document. You're generally accessible, responsive, despite being very busy. Although I don't always agree with your approach or priorities, I appreciate all of this sincerely. With your final term ending soon, I'm surprised to see your recent foibles making an appearance. I'm not sure why this is happening. Your argument with the Knox County Sheriff was an embarrassment and ended with him calling you a liar. Why was this spat so public and short-sighted? Surely you have his cell, and yet you chose to twist the facts to suit whatever goal was in play. Again, I was surprised. Secondly, and this even goes to comments that you made at the top of the meeting tonight, you can be really diplomatic and objective and fair. You know, for example, mentioning all the calls that came in recently regarding the election. What you said at the top of the hour is you encourage people to contact the campaigns, which is a reasonable response, but that's not what you did on Facebook. Your call to arms Facebook post disguised as collaborative leadership was disingenuous. You shook the opportunity to lead and encourage thoughtful and objective dialogue like you did at the top of this meeting in the midst of another election cycle, and instead potentially defamed an elected alderman by a not so subtle innuendo. I think your post was deeply inappropriate. You have done and should have done better. These two recent examples smack of political gamesmanship rather than skilled leadership that we're used to seeing. Leadership that's focused on the needs of the residents of Farragut. I hope your remaining time in office is reflective of your long-standing record rather than your more recent communications. Please lead with integrity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Adam. And I'll answer the sheriff thing. Quite frankly, I was not communicating with the sheriff. I was communicating with his PR person. She called me a liar, okay, because what I said was they closed the precinct in September. We went and we spoke with them. David Smoke and I went and spoke with them about the precinct closing, and we asked very politely to have 2 police officers in our town 24/7. With the budget that they have, which is $117.4 million, I don't think 2 police officers is really too much to ask. But what they did do was once they closed it, they took our lone police officer, Brad Hall, and they moved him to the jail where he's still at today. Now, neither one of those are lies, and that's what she called me a liar on. Okay, so that's, I'm not apologizing for anything I said, and She said I lied about the precinct closing, which it did in September, okay? David and I actually went in October to talk with Bernie Line and Hugh Holt about this. We were supposed to see the sheriff, but the sheriff's sick, okay? He's got pancreatic cancer. And he's not talking to people. So we talked with Bernie Line, who passed away, and Hugh Holt, who is the purchasing director for the sheriff's department, okay? We were told that they'd get back to us. I didn't send a letter until March, okay? And in March, I sent a letter. I didn't get a response until last month, okay? And it was called me a liar for the two things that I said were a fact. That was the precinct closed and that the sheriff office had moved Brad Hall to the jail. I didn't lie about either one of them. Now, her response, you know, that's fine. She's capable of doing that. And she asked for that somebody should do better. The police department, as far as the officers, are great. All of them we have here, they're great, okay? When Brad Hall was here, he was great. But we have none now. We do have one back in the back that's working this particular event, as we pay them separately to work these events, okay? That's not something that they do out of the kindness of the heart. We do pay for 4 hours of their time, even though it may take just an hour. So I don't think I lied. If you think I did, I'm sorry. Okay. Next.
Greg Wyberly, 12603 Evans Road.
Greg, please step up and state your name and address, and you got 3 minutes, please.
Greg Wyberly, 12603 Evans Road. A recent post on Facebook about Alex Kane fits the classic description of cyberbullying in that it calls for citizens to, quote, make their feelings known directly with Mr. Kane about his continued service to the community. I find it reprehensible that one town official would single out another elected official to challenge the legitimacy of that elected official. When placed in the context of this election, however, the reason becomes much clearer. This was simply not a disagreement between two members of the BOMA. It appears to be a partisan action during an election season intended to damage a mayoral candidate who is running against someone supported by the majority of this board. So here are the facts. The mayor used his Mayor Ron Williams Facebook account using his official title to call for public pressure against the opponent of the candidate that he supports. Every other BOMA member other than Mr. Kane signed Louise Pavlin's election petition for mayor, an obvious show of support and partisanship. The BOMA meeting rule not allowing personal attacks was not enforced when Mrs. Pavlin and her husband spoke against a private citizen. The BOMA meeting rule that all speakers must identify themselves by name and address was not enforced when Mrs. Pavlin has spoken on several occasions, shows favoritism. This administration appears to be selective also in that Mrs. Pavlin's campaign is allowed to post yard signs in violation of the ordinance without any action being taken. So I have to ask, is she exempt from the very rules that everyone else has to follow? So for the mayor to post something about Mr. Kane under the guise of town authority shows what little respect you have for the voters in Farragut and actually says more about you than Mr. Kane. The people of Farragut have grown tired of the old divisive politics that is now occurring in this election season. These hit jobs may appease the few supporters that Mrs. Pavlin already has and probably represents how she would govern. But for the rest of us, we're sick of it. I am sure that there are some that are entertained by the gossip and false rumors, but is that really how we should pick our leaders? There is a lot at stake in this election, and there are real issues that concern voters that need to be debated. For the mayor to misdirect the conversation away from these issues demeans the office he swore to uphold and is a disservice to the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Basically, I will reply to one item, two items, really. I've not did anything saying against Alderman Kane. I don't know where you come up with that, but that's not something I've done. I have had many calls. Matter of fact, I had 52 calls and meetings with people asking me to do something about what was written, okay? I can't do that. I have no way of doing that. There is no recall. We cannot, Alderman Kane is a duly elected alderman, okay? I've told everybody, we can't do anything about what was printed, nothing. I can't do a thing about it. I've had a PTO person that called me, and I listened to her for 15 minutes while she ragged me about this situation. But there is nothing that I can do, nor do I want to do, because nothing happened under Alderman Kane's watch while he was, an alderman, and he's a new elected official. So I told everybody, if you want to talk to a candidate, whoever it is, call them, okay? It's real simple, okay? As far as yard signs, if you read the ordinance, it says 12 foot from the curb, okay? And I think if you measure one of those yard signs, they're going to be at least 12 foot from the curb. As far as Miss Povlin's signs, I know for sure with that because I went and measured them, okay? And I went and measured some of the others too. And everybody's followed the rules. So I don't know where you've come up with that, but, and just so you know, as far as yard signs, you ask whoever owns the property if you can put a sign on their yard or on their property if it's commercial property. And that's what everybody, and to my knowledge, and I'd have to ask Mr. Kane that, but I think, and I'm pretty sure he has, I have to say that everybody has followed that rule. So I have to disagree with what you had to say, but thank you for stepping up and talking. Mr. Wyberly, this is not a debate. Okay, you had your chance to speak, okay? Next, please.
Kim Parks, 10701 Farragut Hills Boulevard.
Okay, Ms. Parks, you're up again. Thank you.
Kim Parks, 10701 Farragut Hills Boulevard. So I'm going to start this with a question. What do the citizens of Farragut really want? Do they want a town built on trust, fairness, and respect? Or one where political allies are protected, critics are targeted, and rules change depending on who is speaking? And Mayor and members of this board, I ask you, what have your words created in Farragut? Have they brought citizens together? Or have they taught people that anyone who questions this administration may become its next target? Have they encouraged honest public debate or created a culture where criticism is answered with retaliation? I do not expect perfection from anyone sitting on this dais. I do not expect perfection from Alderman Kane, and I certainly do not claim it for myself. But I do expect humility. I expect integrity. I expect courage when friends are wrong. And I expect those entrusted with public office to understand the weight of their words. Proverbs tells us that death and life are in the power of the tongue. Every word creates something. In March, I emailed every one of you asking to denounce the personal attacks and political hostility directed at citizens. I warned that the rhetoric was escalating and that someone could eventually get hurt. I gave every one of you an opportunity to lead before this became worse. Mayor, your response to me was, you started it all, you can end it all. What did those words create? They did not create peace. They did not create accountability. They placed the blame on a person being attacked instead of confronting those doing the attacking. That was not leadership. That was blame. Louise and Jay were permitted to target me at this very podium, and the rules were not enforced. No one stopped them. No one defended the basic principle that citizens should be treated with dignity, especially when they're not present. Now, the same pattern has been directed at Alderman Kane. Alex Kane is not perfect. Neither are any of you. Neither am I. But he was elected by the people of Farragut. He continues to show up, serve this town, and stand by his convictions despite relentless personal attacks. His votes, his record are fair subject for debate. His personal humiliation should never become a political strategy for anyone. So, Mayor, I have questions. Why did a Facebook account carrying your title, Mayor Ron Williams, tell citizens it's vital to direct their feelings personally towards Mr. Kane? Why are your allies giving grace? I didn't get to finish, but thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
That's-
Parks. I'm not sure what Facebook post you're talking about toward Mr. Kane. That's news to me, but
Well, if I got to finish, you would know.
but anyway, when I said that you started, you can end it, you attacked quite a few people in your past history, and we do have video on every one of them, okay? I know you're going to sit there and deny it, but that video is very much evidence that what you did, not only with the Pavlins, but also the person you were sitting right beside at a recent meeting that happened on Wednesday. And that right there was something that it was his wife that she was a long time, she was 24-year person that worked here, and because of you standing up here and running your mouth like you did, okay, she quit. To me, you start it, you can end it, okay? That's the bottom line, okay? Next.
Kat Lee, 405 Ensign Lane.
Well, Mr. Lee, please step up to the microphone. We haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back.
Thank you. Pat Lee, 405. Little person, sweet. Joe is my public performance accountability partner, so I'm going to do my very best here. I'm going to just read the post that everybody's alluding to here. First off, Alex, I give you props, man. You're here, you're standing up strong. You have every right to. Ron, I believe you wrote, we have received a high volume of calls and inquiries from concerned residents over the last few days asking whether the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the town administration can remove Alderman Kane from office. That's what you wrote. That's what you started out with. I used the word character assassination by innuendo. You took the weight of the mayor's office and you put this out. And you made this comment, leaving nothing else there, not giving anything that he sits on the board with us. He deserves our support. I know Alex Kane, and he's an honorable man. I certainly wouldn't take 52 calls from residents, because all you did in this whole thing was give us basically a 6th grade education on democracy. We all know that. We know that you can't remove. We know this just from being around. But you put your thumb on the election, sir. And that's the problem. We had a problem last time at the election. We went to the election commission on it. Somehow you dodged that. But I think the board, I'm asking the board to censure you for this behavior. Mr. Hale, you support him every step of the way. Why haven't you stepped out and said something about this? It's inappropriate. He's your colleague too. Thank you.
Okay, Pat, thank you for your comments. The 52 calls that I had, I told every one of them the exact same thing, that they needed to contact Mr. Kane and any other candidate that they had any questions on. That was in that particular post, okay? That was something that had went on for a few days. I had 52 of them. And then all of a sudden they stopped. And then I started receiving calls about boring roads. So, but some of them were quite much a question. Most of them were women. They had questions. That's what most of them were. They had questions that really, it wasn't my place to talk for Mr. Kane, okay? It was his place, and that's what I recommended. And if you'll read that post, that's kind of what I said there. So that's kind of what was on that. So and I didn't know which post you were talking about, but I do now, so thank you. Okay, next.
Lawrence Seagrass, 12103 Valley Trail.
Lawrence Segrist, 12103 Valley Trail. I want to address the board. A lot of what I wanted to say has already been said, so I'm just going to speak extemporaneously. Hopefully I don't screw it up too bad. But I was disturbed also by this post that everyone's referring to. And Mayor, you can weave and dodge, but there was a lot of things that you were implying. You were a lot of innuendo, and you said it was vital for people to address him directly. And so that is something that you can't hide from that. Now, that's inappropriate. It's inappropriate to treat a colleague like that. It's inappropriate to treat the voters like that. So I don't know what's wrong with this town. I have people that live out in the county and they say, "What's up with Farragut?" I say, it's like a high school. They make important decisions, but they do it like they're in high school. And so, Mayor, I would encourage you and all the board members to just take it easy and let the voters decide. There's an election coming up. We will vote. And if anyone has a problem with Mr. Kane, they can call him, as you said. But I interpreted your message very clearly, that you were encouraging that and that you were implying things about him that he should be if only you had the power. That's the end of my comments.
Okay, thank you, Lawrence. I did not imply that. A lot of people may say that that's how they read it, but my actual, what I meant for people to decide was they had called me, why didn't they call Mr. Kane? He's the one that could tell them everything. All I could tell them was what I saw, and that was not for me to make any decisions on, other than to call Mr. Kane and any other. And I think I stated that any candidate, all candidates. Matter of fact, that's what I said when I first opened at this meeting. So, but thank you anyway, Mr. Seagraves. Next.
Herbert Lindsay, 734 Andover Boulevard.
Good evening. I'm here to address a matter that has significant impact to my property at 734 Andover Boulevard and ask for answers regarding decisions made by the town of Farragut Building and Approval Department, construction process for the neighboring development. On January 6th, representatives from the town building department met with the homeowner responsible for the construction adjacent to our property and ourselves. During the meeting, several commitments were made regarding drainage and the protection of neighboring properties. The builder stated that runoff from the roof gutter system would be directed away from the property and toward the creek on the east side of the lot. That did not happen. Instead, the water was discharged into the driveway that slopes to our property, increasing the amount of water flowing into our land. The builder also stated he would not continue backfilling the rear of the property. However, additional fill was added, raising the grade even further. This change now directs groundwater from the Hickory Woods area toward our property. In addition, we were told that his engineers would evaluate and address drainage concerns, yet no drainage system was installed between the two properties No drains, swells, or other stormwater controls were provided. Drainage easements was effectively blocked 100%, and measures were taken to maintain natural flow of water. No measures. My concern is not simply that the builder did. My concern is why the town of Farragut allowed it. The town knew this property was located in a FEMA flood zone. The town knew changes were being made to the grade and drainage patterns, yet no drainage plan was required, no hydrologic or hydraulic studies were required, and no stormwater protections were put in place to protect neighboring properties. Other builders in Farragut are routinely required to provide engineering documentation and drainage plans when developing property in flood zone areas. My family has owned the property for 23 years. Not the lot now being developed remained undeveloped for 33 years because it was in a flood zone. We relied on the existing drainage pattern to maintain our property accordingly. Now, after these changes, we are dealing with increased runoff, redirected groundwater, and blocked drainage easements, all without any apparent protection from the town. Tonight, I'm asking for accountability and transparency. I would like specific answers as to why the comments made during January 6th meeting were not enforced and why drainage protections are not required, and why neighboring property owners were left vulnerable despite flood risks associated with this development. Thank you.
Okay, sir, I will have to get back with you on that and get some people involved because I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, so, but we will get back with you on that. Okay, please leave us your contact information as far as how to get a hold of you. Okay, next.
Jillian Lindsay, 734 Andover Boulevard.
Good evening, everyone. I should have gone first.
State your name and address.
Jillian Lindsay.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. As I said, I had reached out to Mr. Kane, and I never got a response. I sent an email to you. I never got a response. I had a lengthy conversation with Mr. Williams, and his response was not favorable given the impact of our property. The ongoing concern is that regarding the town's handling of the drainage easement and retaining wall dispute with the neighboring property. Today marks 1 year we have been struggling with that construction. The engineer that developed the subdivision with the developer did a report for us with $7,000 out of our pocket paying for engineering study, and we're about to spend another $6,000 to $12,000 for an H&H calculation, which should have been requested by the town of Farragut and our HOA, but the HOA is strongly relying on the town of Farragut to do the due diligence. I reached out, I had extensive conversation, emails, recorded meetings, nothing happened. I do understand some people get proximity and they don't get equality, and that's what I am seeing with this whole process with the town of Farragut, because violations, after violations, pictures, videos being sent to the town of Farragut. One of the residents of our subdivision is here tonight and is aware of that situation. Also, one of the individuals with the town of Farragut, who was here at the town of Farragut meeting, is also here. I have repeatedly asked for intervention to course correct what was going on. Nothing has been done. I even expressed what the individual did, and after speaking to FEMA in Nashville, the individual backfilled to the extent so a H&H calculation should have been required from the town of Farragut. And he took his property out of the flood zone and put our property in the flood zone. Our crawl space is on that east side of his west side of the property where the significant flood happens. 2014, 2019, and the latest 2024 when Hurricane Helene came, significant flooding. The road, everything was flooded. The topography map shows the slope of the land. We have water from Hickory Woods. We have adjacent neighboring properties that run off into our property that normally would take the water, the natural course would take it to the Little Turkey Creek that is adjacent to that property that is along the line. Nothing was done. The construction got completed. He even did a retaining wall. When we call and ask the town of Farragut about a retaining wall, the builder was supposed to get our permission to do it. We did not give permission, but it still happened.
Okay, thank you. Again, we will do some research on this, but thank you for bringing it to us. Next.
Matthew Parsons, 11916 West Kingsgate.
Welcome, Mr. Parsons. Please.
A while back, some Farragut residents asked me to run for South Alderman, and I pulled the petition. However, I also had a group of people who came to me and said, would you run for Knox County Commission as well? And I was faced with this decision about what I was gonna do. And so I went and I asked my dad. I said, Dad, what would you do? And he said, Matthew, he said, Knox or county commission races, in his experience, can be really, really rough on the candidates. He said, but let me tell you what I do know. Local town level, those are vicious. And I feel like that's what has happened. So we've gone from having a conversation about the issues to, for lack of a better term, gossip. And I looked up and I asked myself, I said, how long has Alex Kane been an alderman here in Farragut? 2 years, right? Right? And what are we talking about? We're talking about accusations or something that happened a long, long time, even way before that. And it comes out, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, doesn't it seem odd that this defamation of character has been basically right now? Why would that be? Was there new evidence that came to light or some new mistake that was committed or something like that? In a country where someone is innocent until proven guilty, what was he guilty of? From what I could tell, the only mistake that Alex Kane made was to run against the heir apparent of the current mayor. Listen, part of the reason that I didn't run for alderman is because I didn't want to deal with the drama. like the idea of it just, I wasn't even going to talk tonight because I just hate the drama. And then I saw it continue on here and it just, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I was just going to make my voice heard at the poll. That's all I was going to do. And then I did. Again, I read that Facebook post and I was like, are you kidding me? And I don't have a problem with what everybody else was saying. Here's the line that I had a problem with. Ultimately, any decisions regarding Alderman Kane's future on the board rest entirely with Mr. Kane himself. I feel like I'm driving a car and my kids are in the back seat and one of them's going, I'm not touching you, right? Juvenile little games. Saying one thing, right? It's like watching an episode Dukes Hazzard, Boss Hogg's harebrained schemes. I didn't do anything. It's ridiculous. So listen, personally, I pray that Mr. Kane wins so that we can either reverse the damage that you and his opponent have done for at least for the stop further damage. I'll close with that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next. That's it? Okay.
Would you consider updating your post?
Well,
Take another look at it.
I tell you what, you know my email address, okay? Send me your suggestions. Okay, if you don't mind, I'd appreciate that. Next.
Mayor, thank you. Like to end on a positive note this evening. We've got a huge July 4th parade coming up here in just a couple of weeks. It's a 250th anniversary of our great country, and Ron and his team at Parks and Rec and Public Works, our whole entire staff is going to working really hard to make this an incredible event. We've got 90-plus floats that are going to be going down Kingston Pike. We've got a Freedom Run that's going to start at 9 o'clock and the parade at 9:30. It's going to be a hot one, so I'd say make sure that you come prepared for that. But we've got our grand marshals this year, our veterans from the different military services. It's going to be phenomenal. I think we're calling it Vets and Vets. We've got a bunch of Corvettes that they're going to be riding down Kingston Pike in. So it's going to be a great event, and I really look forward to it every single year. It's the largest event we host here in the town of Farragut, so I hope everybody can come out and be a part of it. That's all I have to report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. It's the largest spectator event, 4th of July spectator event in the state of Tennessee. So we're all looking forward to it. Okay, town attorney's report.
I have no report tonight.
Okay, then I will ask if any of the rest of the aldermen have anything else they would like to bring forth. Okay, Mr. Kane, you're up. Okay.
First of all, without addressing everyone individually here, you may not be aware, but this is a twofold here. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Smoke and Mr. Hale and the staff here at the town of Farragut. I received a threat against my life in an email yesterday, and they addressed it immediately. And the sheriff's department, they've responded and got everything to the sheriff's department that they needed, and that is being addressed. And I just wanted to tell them thank you for that. And second of all, I'd like to wish the mayor a happy birthday on the 27th.
Okay, thank you. Threats on our life, as an elected official, it happens to us, unfortunately. I hated that you also had that happen to you. We have people who think that that's funny, I think. It's not funny. It's a serious deal, so. You have anything to report?
I do not.
Vice Mayor? No, if not, then the time is approximately 6:59 p.m., and we will be adjourned.